Alright guys, today I'm going to go over the different frog deck variants in Yu-Gi-Oh! Edison format. I'm gonna just look at some of the popular, like the most popular list, and then look at the main deck, and then at the end of the video I'm gonna rank them in order of which frog deck I think is the best. So we'll start off with the forg deck. This is Alisdair's build that I believe he won one of the Ultimate Timers with. But again, I'm only gonna look at the main deck, and based on how I like to build my decks, what I think about it. So let's see, 40 cards. First, I like to look at how many starters the deck has. So if you look, what I would consider starters in this deck are like 3 sub, 3 swap. That's 6. Moray, 9, 1 for 1, 10. Some people would argue Treeborn is kind of a starter, but yeah, that's about it. Now we'll look at the extenders in this deck. A Fishborg, Brain, Foolish, that's 5. Avarice, Salvage, 8, 11, 14. So yeah, extenders, yeah, this deck's really good with extenders. Spell and Trap removal, Trunate, Heavy, 3, that's a solid number. And then let's look at, like, the one weakness I see in this deck is, like, the engine requirements. These are all modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Terms, how people build their decks in advanced. And I think that's one of the flaws of this deck. It just has too many engine requirements. Too many cards that you kind of don't want to draw. I mean, you shuffle them back with Moray, like 3 dupe, 3 des. See, Dandelion's a weird card. I guess you can kind of count it as an extender as well. Kind of. I guess a starter as well. This is kind of like this card fulfills a lot of roles, so. Ooh, yeah, pretty solid deck. The only weakness I see in this deck, really, it just doesn't have enough defense. Like, the only real defensive card is Gores, but you could, I guess they can't play real, like, I don't know, maybe you could splash Battle Fader in this deck. That's about it, but it's just, you kind of need everything else. Like, I think if you play, like, Regeki Breaks and stuff in the main deck, you kind of hurt your potential to OTK your opponent, so that's why I don't think they play that card. I know people have made spreadsheets for this deck and how many cards they need to OTK, so yeah, maybe squeeze in some Battle Faders. That's like, maybe Torrential. That's like the only weakness I see with this deck. So yeah, this is the fork deck, and again, we'll rank them all. I'm going with the 3 most popular ones, and then the rest of them are from Format Library. Next up, we'll go to Frog Hero. This is Fitz's list. I actually tried his list, and I really liked it. I tried his list that he topped RBETLA with, but this is from where he got second place at Vegas. It's almost identical to the one he used in LA. So 3 Kaias, 2 Mali, 2 Dupe. It's the only thing is, like, he's playing like double junk. 5 Monarchs, only 4 heroes, 1 Gores, and the Spell and Trap. Yeah, he put the Lightning Vortex in the main deck. MST 1 for 1 Road. It looks pretty standard. Like the trap lineup: 3 Regeki Break, 1 Wing Blast, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Dust Shoot, 1 Yada, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Now let's look at like what I would consider starters in this deck. So 3 sub, 3 sub. All the frog decks are gonna have this as their starters. Is Dupe a starter? Kind of. Yeah, kind of, because it searches swap, I guess. Rhoda's a starter, 1 for 1 e-call. That's one reason why I've always loved Frog Hero, is just because like the deck can be consistent. The only issue, sometimes it draws too many normal summons, and one thing this deck has over the fork deck is, you can see here, he has quite a few defensive cards. 4 discard traps, Mirror Force, Gores. I guess Trap Dust Shoot is kind of a defensive card. Spell and Trap removal, heavy MST. You don't want to play too much Spell and Trap removal, I think, too. I guess Regeki Break kind of fills that role as well, so... Brain, Econ. I don't mind 1 Econ. Lightning Vortex. I think this may be more of a side deck card. Yeah, I don't know. This is more of a side. I don't like it in the main deck. 2 Junk, so as far as extenders go, this deck has quite a few good ones. 3 Miracle, I guess Brain, Econ, Junk Synchrons, the Monarch. So yeah, pretty solid deck. The only weakness I've always felt with Frog Hero is just, it's kind of the same thing with the fork deck. Sometimes you draw too many monsters, or you draw dead Miracle Fusions. I can see that's one major flaw in this deck. I actually tested this deck out, so I know I like it. The only thing I would maybe change is maybe add another hero monster. I don't know, maybe throw a random Prodigy in there. That's about it. Maybe cut the Vortex for a Prodigy just to have 5 heroes instead of 4. I know Econ Roto counted as 6, but that'll give you 7, so I feel more comfortable with 7 heroes. Yeah, I'm not looking at the extra deck because we're only comparing the frog variants. Now the last one, at least on Dueling Book, is Thomas C. This is just a pure frog monarch deck. Like the traditional frog monarch deck. My friend John's been playing this deck. I've actually played a pure frog monarch deck once, and the flaw with this deck that I've always felt was it just does one play per turn. Like sometimes my opponent will Kai's me, or I even drop a lad, and then I'll just still beat them because they can only do one play per turn. But I did lose to a deck similar to this one. I think at YCS Rhode Island. So yeah, look at here. Triple Battle Freighter, triple Kai's, 2 Dark Dust, 2 Dupes, 1 Gores, triple Rise, 3 Sub, 3 Swap, 3 Thestalos, 1 Track, 2 Treeborn. The 4 Brain Controls, Heavy, triple Soul Exchange, triple Upstart, 2 Reckless Greed, and 1 Scapegoat. So I know there's like a way you're supposed to play against this deck, but if you don't know what you're doing, sometimes you just walk into them just monarching you every turn. I think what you're supposed to do against this deck is just poke them with your weenies, like just go summon, attack. I don't remember, but this deck can be tough to beat at times, especially for a value turbo list. But if you look at the starters, same thing, 6 starters. See, these cards are weird. I guess in this deck, I would consider Treeborn a starter. So that's 8. He's not even playing 1-for-1 in this list. Yeah, I don't know about that one. So it has a decent amount of starters. I guess Dupe, 10 at most. And as far as extenders, it's like Caius, Ryza, Dark Dust, that's 8. 12, Soul Exchange. Yeah, this deck's weird. I'm not a big fan of this deck. It has some defensive cards, though, with double Regeki Break, triple Battle Freighter, Gores is like 6 defensive cards. A decent number. Now, I don't know what Scapegoat's for. Yeah, I don't know what Scapegoat's for. But this deck is pretty good. It's decent, but again, the one weakness is just they only have 1 play per turn. So all right, so now let's go over to Diva Frog. Now this is a deck that I've always wanted to try out, but the reason why I kind of decided not to play is because deck dev is now in everyone's main deck. So it looks like he ran like triple Caius, triple Diva, 2 Dupe. Who is this? First place, Rognak. How many Rognak decks are we going to see? Yeah, flip-flop Gores. I don't even know what this card is. Mermaid Archer, 1 Ryza, 1 Mobius, 1 Spine Gilman, 3 Dupe. 3 Sub, 3 Swap, 2 Treeborn, 1 Uni. 1 Brain, 1 Econ. Seems pretty standard. Heavy, MS3, triple Moray, 1-for-1, 2 Salvage. Yeah, it's good in this deck. 2 Soul Exchange, and then 5 defensive cards. So let's see how many defensive cards he plays. 5 with the Gores is 6. So a decent number with defensive cards, 6. Spell and trap removal, heavy, and MST. And let's look at the starters. 3, 6, 9, 10. So triple sub, triple swap, triple Moray. 1-for-1, 10. See, in this deck, I wouldn't count Treeborn and Dupe as starters, but I would count Diva. So yeah, quite a few starters. So I'm guessing this deck's consistent. Triple, like 5 Monarchs for the extenders. Brain Econ 7, Salvage 8, 9. So yeah, so pretty solid. I like this deck. I've always wanted to play it, but deck dev hurts this version way too much. But at least you have Salvage to salvage them back. But let's just count how many deck dev targets. 3. I guess Treeborn's not. I mean, it's a deck dev target, but it's not like the worst. 3, 6, 9, 10. Mermaid Archer, I believe. 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, too many deck dev targets. That's the only weakness of this deck, but I'm a big fan. I've always wanted to play it. All right, next up is Plant Frogs. Leo Bach, I've played him once on ladder. I think I played him in War League. I didn't face him, but I played against his team. First place, some EWCQ Milan 2024. Now, as far as this Plant Frog deck, I actually played a similar deck to this at locals. It was a little different, but I did win the local. And I think the deck is okay from when I played it. So let's look at the list. Triple Caius, 1 Cyber Valley, 2 Dandy, 2 Dupe, 1 Gorge, triple Lad. See, in my list, I was only playing, I think, 2 Lad. 2 Lone Fire, Ryza, 3 Sub, 3 Swap, or only 2 Swap. Every time I try 2 Swap, I always regret it because then I don't see Treeborn and I lose. 1 Titanium, 1 Uni. Brain, triple econ, heavy, MST, 1-for-1 soul exchange. The 8 trap cards. More traps than you normally see in a frog deck. But I get why he's playing the discard traps, because he wants to get Treeborn in the grave, and he wants to discard Dandelion so that he can contribute for Lad. That's why he's going all out. His game, I guess, based on his build, I see why he's all in on Lad with the triple econ. Now let's look at this deck has quite a few starters. One thing I liked about it when I played, again, 3 sub, 2 swap, 2 Lone Fire is 7, 1-for-1 8. I guess you could consider Treeborn and Dandelion starters in this deck. So, yep. Defensive cards, quite a few. 9. All 9 trap cards and Gores. And then the extenders like Brain, Econ, Soul Exchange. That's what, 5. And all the Monarchs and Lad, all that stuff. So, yeah, this deck is pretty solid. Again, I've actually played this deck at locals. Managed to win. Maybe I should try. I think I tried it at 2 locals. The first time I won, and the second one I just got cooked. Maybe I should go back and give this deck another shot. I think it's solid. All right. Now, this is James Ark's deck. I know he got second place in Ultimate Time Wizard with this. I consider this a frog deck because he plays, the frog engine, 3 sub, 3 dupes. Now this deck I'm not too familiar with. My friend Scott Page has played it, so I don't think I've ever gone up against this deck. Maybe once, so I can't really give a good analysis of this deck. But let's just look at just based off deck building. He plays 3 defensive cards. Now, spell and trap removal, he plays 3. No MST in the main deck. Probably doesn't need it. He just wants to Cold Wave Heavy or True Age you. He doesn't want to just randomly space 1 card. And again, the 6 starters. I guess we'll count Treeborn as a starter in this deck. 3, 6, 8. Moray, 10. So yeah, starters is good. Extenders with Brain, Econ. Gold Star. Yeah, so this deck seems pretty solid with the Gold Stars as well. 1-for-1 2. Yeah, this deck has quite a few stars. This is a good list. Now let's look at just the extenders. Salvage, Pot of Avarice. Oh, Moray. Oh my god, that's 5? 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, this deck is solid, man. If you win the die roll with this deck seems good. But it's kind of the same thing with the fork deck where they have a lot of cards. I guess you don't want to draw. But no, actually not really. Not many. Extender, Salvage, Pot of Avarice, Colcant. That's 7. And then the rest are just kind of engine requirements. Yeah, this deck is solid. I think the one weakness is just extenders. This deck heavily relies on the Colcant. That's the one weakness. But this build is pretty solid. All right, next up is Machina Frogs by Rognak. Second place, Edison. Now, my friend, this deck I actually did play at a locals once because my friend Ryan and I played this deck at locals for a very long time. I faced him many times with this deck, and I actually tried it myself once. So, let's look at this build. Triple Caius, 1 Card Trooper, 1 Cyber Valley, 2 Dandy, 2 Duke Gores, 1 Junk. Yeah, I remember Ryan always ran 1 Junk. Because they can search it with the Sphere of Chaos. 2 Fortress, 3 Gear Frame, 3 Sub, 3 Swap, 2 Treeborn, Brain, Econ, Heavy, MST, 1-for-1, 2 Soul Exchange, 6 Discard Traps, and Mirror Force. So, me personally, when I tried this deck, I didn't like the Sphere of Chaos. It just didn't seem worth it. Yeah, you would go search Junk and Dandelion, but I thought it was too slow. Its attack is too low. Maybe if it was 1800 or 1900, it'd be so much better, but 16 is too low. Now let's look at starters. That's one thing I always liked about this deck. I guess Card Trooper's a starter. Gear Frame, Sub, that's 7. 3 Swap is 10, so a decent amount. 1-for-1, 11, yeah. Defensive cards, 3, 6, 7, 8 defensive cards. 2 Spell and Trap removals with Heavy MST. Brain, Econ, Soul Exchange for the extenders. Fortress Force, so that's what? 2, 4, 7, 10 with the Caiuses, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, pretty solid list. I have no complaints. This seems good. The only thing I would change is I would probably throw 3 upstarts in here and cut some of the other cards. Maybe I'd cut the Cyber Valley. Maybe I'd cut the do you need Dandelion in this deck? I don't know. That's the only thing I would change is just find a way to throw 3 upstarts. Playing quite a few defensive cards, though. Maybe I'd cut 1 Wing Blast, too. Yeah, that's about it. All right, so now let's go. We got 2 more, and then we'll rank them at the end. So we've got Mausoleum Frog. Again, how many Rognak decks do we have? 3? 3 Rognak decks. This deck, What is it? Is this like the KFC deck? No, no, that's not. Kura's Field Control? No, this is not that deck. Yeah, I don't know about this deck, but let's look at it. One trap card and the Treacherous, 3 Terraforming, 3 Soul Exchange, 1-for-1 MST, Mausoleum. Heavy, Brain, Econ 3, Gear Town, 2 Treeborn, 2 Swap, 3 Sub, 1 Track, Triple Lad, 2 Ryza, Gorge, Double Dupe, Triple Kais, 1 Dark Dust. What's this one called? I forgot the name of this one. Arcana Force the Fool, Battle Fader, 2 Gadgetron Dragons. I think I actually faced Rognak one time. This was before the DB ladder was a thing. I think I just randomly ran into him on a random game and he was playing this deck. Yeah, I don't know about this deck. This deck seems really bricky, especially with only 2 swaps. Like, he really needs to see his Treeborn. So I'll go over how many starters he's got. See, the dupe is weird. I don't know if I would consider it a starter. Some people would, but I don't think I do. All right, 3 sub, 2 swap, 2. Yeah, Treeborn in this deck is definitely a starter. 7, 1-for-1 8. I guess Terraforming 11 because he gets into his Mausoleum and his Gear Town, so 11. Not a lot of defense, only like 4 defensive cards, spell and trap removal, and I guess the extenders are just quite a few. You know, the Gear Town, the Caiuses, the Dark Dust. That's what 4, 6. Lad 9, Ryza 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, this deck, I like it, but it just seems like it can draw some pretty clunky, awkward hands. Like a bunch of Monarchs. Again, it's kind of the same thing as a Frog Monarch deck. It probably has like... Well, the difference is this deck can like do a Monarch play, and then they can do a Gadgetron play. So I guess compared to the standard Frog Monarch deck, this deck has more plays. They can throw... It's kind of like the Hero Frog deck in a sense. They can throw a Monarch at you or throw a Lad at you and then throw a Gadgetron at you. So, yeah, pretty solid build by Rognak. All right, last one is Frog Quickdraw. So it's kind of similar to the Frog Plant deck, except you throw I think that Joshua Schmidt played this deck. I don't know. This deck I'm not too familiar with, but I have seen some people play this type of deck. Triple Caius, 2 Dandy, 2 Debris, 2 Dupe, Gores, 2 Junk. 2 Lone Fire, 3 Quick Draw, 3 Sub, 3 Swap, 2 Treeborn, 1 Turbo Rocket, 1 Titanium, Brain, Econ, Foolish, Heavy, 1-for-1, 2 Avarice, Soul Exchange, Triple Break, Wing Blast, Mirror Force. So, I think I do like this deck just because Quick Draw gives you more plays, but one thing I'm already noticing, this deck gets cooked by deck dev. Let's count how many deck dev targets. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. More than half your deck gets hurt by deck dev. So that's one glaring flaw with this deck. But this kind of reminds me of the Machina Quick Draw deck, except instead of the Machina engine, you're playing the Frog engine. And yeah, except this is kind of the same thing. Very similar. A lot of monsters. Let's see, 5, 6 defensive cards. No MST in the main deck. 1-for-1. Now let's look at the starters. I guess in this deck, I would consider Foolish a starter. So Foolish, 1-for-1. Triple swap, so that's 8. Lone Fire, 10. So quite a few starters. Dandelion, I guess you can count as a starter. You don't want too many starters in your deck, too many normal summons, so that's like you don't want to just throw like a bunch of starters. I think the ratio is like, from what I've been told and read and heard, as like 12 to like 14 starters. That's kind of like the number you want, but sometimes it's harder in some decks. Now let's look at the extenders. Caius's, Debris, Junk, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Quick Draw, 11, Brain, Econ, 13. Actually, I said Pot Avarice is an extender. No, Pot Avarice is a bomb. I didn't really talk about bombs because, yeah, Pot Avarice is more of a bomb. Kind of like Dark Arm and Return. Now, what do I think about this deck? Again, the deck dev is the one weakness, but it looks like a fun deck. I wouldn't mind trying it. You get destroyed by oppression and deck dev, but that's just such a huge flaw. But it looks fun. Because you have like a turn 1 play besides summoning sub and swap and Lone Fire and you to get Titanium out, and you also have a quick draw play. So yeah, pretty solid deck. Now let's go ahead and rank these decks. We have them right here. I'm just gonna rank them from like what. So we'll go with the forg deck here at. We'll start off and then I'll write Fish OTK. Do I think the Fish deck is better than the forg deck? No, I would put forg ahead of Fish because I feel the Fish deck can be kind of bricky. More bricky than forg. So yeah, I would give the edge to forg. Now frog, quick draw. That's the last deck we just saw. This deck now. This is the third out of these three that I'll put Fish. I like it. It looks fun, but man, just deck dev and oppression. Game one, you auto lose. I mean, so does the forg deck. The forg deck loses to them, but also this deck can draw more awkward hands. So I would put Fish and forg over the frog quick draw deck. Next up is Diva Frog. I wouldn't put this deck over forg, but I might put it over the Fish deck. Yeah, I would probably put this over the Fish deck. I haven't seen... Yeah, I had to choose. I'd feel more comfortable with the Diva Frog deck playing it at an event than Fish. I know James Ark did it, but man, I think that's more him than the deck. Alright, Mausoleum Frog. Would I put this deck over the Fish deck? I don't know. I would probably put Fish over the Mausoleum Frog deck just because this deck... With the Gadgetrons and the Lads, yeah, this deck could be, I think, could be a little cloggy. Now, would I put it over the Frog Quick Draw deck? I don't know. This seems like a... Well, they do have Mausoleum, which they have 4 Mausoleums to tribute summon for Lad. And tribute summon for the... One thing I noticed is it didn't have enough defense, so I would give the Frog Quick Draw deck the edge, because the Mausoleum Frog deck just didn't have enough defense. Now, Frog Hero... This one is either this is probably the second or third best or first best. It's in top 3. So when I put this one over forg, I think Frog Hero has performed better than forg. Even at least, yeah, they both made the finals at. Doesn't get hurt by deck dev as bad, so I would put Frog Hero over forg. Yeah, I would put Frog Hero over forg just because with all the main deck devs, it still hurts Frog Hero, but not as bad. Next up is Machina Frog. I just feel like Fortress just doesn't go too well with this deck, so that's why I wouldn't put it over the... I think the Diva Frog deck has more synergy. So does Fish. Now, which deck has more synergy? Quick Draw Frog or Machina Frog? I think the Frog Quick Draw deck has more synergy, so I'd probably put this one right above the Mausoleum Frog deck. And then we have, 2 more? We have Plant Frog, which is a deck that I played. It's similar to the Machina Frog deck, so... Not Machina Frog. It's similar to the Frog Quick Draw deck. So, it's like, do I prefer the Frog Quick Draw deck, or do I prefer the one with, like, the Lads and stuff? I'd probably have to give the Plant Frog deck the edge. Yeah, I would give the Plant Frog deck the edge over the Frog Quick Draw deck. And then last up is, like, the Pure Frog Monarch deck. This deck I'm just not that much of a fan of. It, like, all these other decks can do more than one thing per turn. Like, Frog Hero Forg and Diva Frog, we know that already, right? So, well, the Diva Frog deck's kind of similar. Maybe I put this Diva Frog deck too high. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and revisit that one. Because it's very similar to the Frog Monarch deck. Yeah, I'm going to have to move this one down. Sorry, I'm going to go back. Because all these other decks can do... Like, the Plant Frog deck... Man, this is tough to rank these decks. I'm changing my mind as I'm going through it. Because the Frog Quick Draw deck can do more. The Plant Frog deck and the Diva Frog deck can only do, like, one thing per turn. The Fish OTK has just OTKs out of nowhere, so... Yeah, I'm going to have to move this one up. I think the Frog Quick Draw deck is over here. Diva Frog or Plant Frog? I'll put the Plant... So see, the thing about the Diva Frog deck is... Yeah, I would put this one ahead of it. I'm starting to realize the Diva Frog deck has too many, like... It's kind of very similar to the Frog Monarch deck. Yeah, I would put the Frog Monarch deck in front of the Diva Frog deck. Now, Machina Frog, Mausoleum Frog. I guess since Machina Frog can drop Fortress, I'll put it a little ahead here. The Plant Frog deck doesn't have many plays per turn, but the thing about the Plant Frog deck is that I feel Lad is pretty consistent with this deck. Mausoleum Frog. Okay, so this is my final thought process. I go Frog Hero number 1, Forg number 2, Fish OTK 3rd, Frog Quickdraw 4th, Plant Frog 5, Machina Frog 6, Mausoleum Frog 7, Frog Monarch 8, and Diva Frog 9. The reason I put these two at the end is because they can only do one. The Diva Frog deck and the Frog Monarch deck are almost identical. The difference is the Diva Frog deck has... We would kind of replace some of the Monarchs for Diva, which is good, but some people would argue just use junk, but again, that deck can only do one thing per turn. The other decks that I put in front of the Frog Monarch decks, they all have other plays. Like the Mausoleum Frog deck can bring out Gadgetron. Machina Frog can bring out Fortress. Now, Plant Frogs doesn't really have that much, but what I like about the Plant Frog deck is like Lad seems really consistent in this deck. Same thing with Mausoleum. That's why I put Mausoleum up there as ahead of these two at the end. Frog Quickdraw is weak to deck dev and oppression, but at least they can do more than one thing per turn. Fish OTK, that deck seems like it seems like an unfair deck sometimes because I know Colcan is a really good card. Fork second and Frog Hero first. Anyways, that's it for my Frog video today. Much longer than I thought, but it's fun looking at other people's lists, seeing what I like and what I dislike, and changes I would make. Yeah, let me know. I'm experimenting making different types of content at least once per week, just so you guys could get some variety. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, check out my membership program. I'm uploading 3 extra videos a week for now, mostly just DB replays. And I'm considering also doing commentary over other people's replays. If you guys want to send them to me, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.